Howdy, and welcome back to another video. This week we are back up at the Devil's Punch Bowl lookout area, as the city is very heavily socked in with cloud cover and you can hardly see very much of the city as there's a lot of mist and fog. I'll insert some B-roll now so you guys can see it. We are also shooting on my Canon EOS R8. I want to see how this camera looks as compared to my other camera and see if there's much of a difference as when I upload it to YouTube, because it's all going to be compressed anyway. Autofocus is also supposed to be on, monitoring my eyes. So I want to make sure it actually is tracking me. So today's video will be a bit slowed down than usual, as I am enjoying the scenery and kind of looking around, and I don't know if there's going to be very much light for today. Everything will be very dull, a bit more muted. This week we are going on a trail called the Dofasco 2000 trail. However, with this amount of kind of fog and smog sort of overlooking the city, I thought it'd be a great place to start up here. We'll take one last pano of the city and we'll kind of compare it between a nice sunny sky, a moody sky, and then very misty and very, very, very moody. The weather today says it shouldn't rain, but looking at the city right now, it kind of feels like it might. The sky is very socked in with clouds right now and they're very low, but just the haze kind of gives it such an interesting attitude. Oh, somebody's alarm's going off. The sound of Hamilton. So of course, I'm just going to look back and forth over the scene with my histogram up. 2-second timer, F14, an eighth of a second. We'll take the same 5 shots again. All right, so we're at a 1/4 of a second at F14. There's 3. There's 4. So it should be more than enough if I want to isolate one out and crop in a little bit. Especially with today, this not actually being my main area, I just had to get this photo in. So we're gonna start on the main trail now. So this week's video, we are actually gonna leave here now, drive over to the Dofasco trail. I'm gonna have to start driving around. We're gonna see if we can find any interesting compositions over there. Now it is a walk path and I think it is very narrow. I don't know if we're gonna be able to see very much color or not. So today is going to be, I don't even know if we're gonna even find any photographs. I've never gone down this trail. This is the very first time I've ever ridden down it. Thankfully, the rain is still held off. Definitely looks like it'll start pouring any second, but at least it's still cool enough. It's about 24, 25 degrees out. So as I was riding down the trail, I came upon this really nice little bridge here that overlooks both sides. You have very, very hemmed in views. So on this side, we have these flowers that look interesting, but it just looks very chaotic. And on this side, getting my camera and all my equipment out of the way right now, so that way we can take this photograph. Oof, look at the size of that mosquito. Ugh. Get my camera on the stand here. We can get the composition framed up. We stopped here on the bridge because there are these pinkish reddish flowers sort of sticking out here on their own. This is kind of an interesting photograph. I wanted to stop and kind of look around, check out different compositions. I started off first seeing if I could get an even level for it, and it just kind of has a little bit too cluttered of a view. Whereas if I raise it up just a little bit, here, I'll bring the camera over, you guys can see. All right, so you see we are framing up these flowers. So I'm gonna try a 1-to-1 crop. I'm gonna see if that helps, just isolate a little bit more of the flowers. And it absolutely does. Now, one more. Let's try a 16:9. I think it's a little bit too wide and it brings in a little bit too much on this side over here, where you guys see a little bit too much foliage and greenery on this side. Whereas if when I go back to a 1-to-1 crop, re-straighten this up. See how it helps to tone down a lot of the crazy greenery on this side. Okay, we're gonna take 2 compositions. First one we're gonna do is f4.5. Try to get everything in focus. 2-second timer. The heck kind of bug was that? Now I'm gonna try seeing if I can isolate one just by itself. I think it's a little bit too bright. So I'm just gonna bring this back down to 1/30th of a second, f2. So we are out at the field again today. This is now the second morning after the first shoot. And there is this beautiful little bit of mist kind of coming off over the water right now, as well as a bunch of ducks kind of swimming around back and forth in the shot. Here, I'll swing this around so you guys can see it. So I've been frantically kind of running around this morning, chasing after the fog. And it just makes the landscape just come to life. I'm testing out different compositions right now, and this entire just jaw-dropping landscape all around. F11, 1/10 of a second. Trying to get this in frame right now so you guys can see. So we're focusing in on, all right, there it is. Now we're gonna go over to a 1-to-1 crop. Let's try to focus in. So I'm trying to get just 2/3 of the frame The light is starting to become a little bit brighter now. You can just see the sun starting to peek up over the top of the branches now. Well, what a beautiful morning. I always enjoy coming up a second day for my photography to the same locations. Whereas the first day, even though we were in a bit of a heat wave, last night the temperature did drop a substantial amount. And today the mist when I first got here was beautiful. The mist didn't last very long. It's now completely gone. But there are still so many interesting shots around here and so many interesting compositions that I have to keep looking around. We have these group of here of about 3 or 4 trees that are just kind of standing out between the rest of the giant backdrop. So as the foreground image, you sort of have this kind of drawing in sort of effect going down this hill area. And then it just sort of piques your interest on the trees. I'm trying to decide if I want to leave in a little piece of wood over here as well, just so it brings in some of the water. f4.5, 1/50th of a second, ISO 100. Well, this has been just a phenomenal day of photography. I'm going to go travel on a little bit further down the road, see if there's any more compositions that catch my interest. And if not, we'll come back here again when the sun's up a little bit more, just to see if it livens up this area. The sun is just hidden behind a few trees. All right. Well, today was a little bit more hectic than the other day. With the lights beginning to pop off right now, so many compositions are just jumping out to me, but the light is a little bit too harsh now. We were rushing around so much today, just chasing after the mist, and I feel like it was, you're kind of always on the back foot. But now that the mist has completely dissolved, I just cannot get over how the day of photography went. All right, thanks for stopping by the channel today, guys. Give us a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of today's photographs, and I'll catch you guys again in the next video.